What's up, everybody? This is Sonny Casebauer coming back at you with a brand new edition of Will Talks with my one and only
Marty O'Connor, baby.
So we're going to attack life's purpose today, and we got a little quick list for you guys to kind of help you get off the couch today. It's very nice. It's very just impactful and inspiring, and I ran out of adjectives.
No, it's super important.
Yeah,
though. I mean,
100%.
for everyone who has been lost, who's been there, going through a tough time, you don't even have to be disabled. Maybe you're just trying to reinvent yourself. Finding your purpose is something that's super important. And I know me and this fool have been through a whole lot of shit, and we're here to tell you what it is that we've been through, how we've learned from that, and then how we've been able to find our purpose.
Well, I think the first thing we lost was our purpose when we got hurt.
Yeah.
And it was those dark times that we can relate to the most.
Mm-hmm.
So if we can help you guys get out of that and give you our little cheat sheet on how to get out of that, I think we can help you.
And you know what else was one of the first things I lost?
What?
Was my style.
Yeah.
Like, no doubt. Once you're in the hospital, man, geez, welcome to sweatpants and tank tops. I could throw some of my finest looks up here for you. So,
God, I'll definitely look in the archive for that too. I got some horrible looks while I was in the hospital as well.
Thankfully, there's companies now that are out to solve that problem, like Zappos Adaptive. So if you are, struggling, maybe you're disabled, you need a little bit more ease putting shirts on, some pants that work better for you, Zappos Adaptive is the place to be.
Hell yeah.
So check it on out.
Definitely.
So without further ado, before we kind of jump into it, man, let's talk about like what it means to like find your purpose and like maybe like where you're at, but like when you're alone and you're hurt and you're just trying to find yourself again, you're completely lost. I mean, what's the mindset you were going through before you really had to start finding these changes and making ways to, find that purpose again?
Looking back on it now, there's definitely a lot of depression going on. I felt like my life was a Groundhog's Day. Mm-hmm. You wake up, you do the same things over and over again, but you're not finding happiness. You're angry inside, you're frustrated, you're just lost, and you just don't know how to get out, and nobody could come into my world at that point and do anything for me. Right. People would come in and try to cheer me up and pump me up, but it just wasn't happening. I had to deal with a lot of baggage.
For sure.
And first thing I had to do was take out the garbage.
That's number one, man, is if you're not right with yourself and you've got, some shit that's clouding your judgment, maybe you're finding happiness, but in the wrong ways. Yeah. You really have to tend to those things. And you have to get yourself in a place to where your purpose can actually be found. Right. You might just be walking around blind and just, throwing rocks off a cliff, man, not hitting anything, So taking out the trash to me is all about just like cleaning up your act. If there's things that you've left, that you haven't taken care of, maybe you do have some depression, maybe you got anxiety, maybe you have some, bad habits or addictions even, that you need to get right with. You need to handle those things. First and foremost, you have to, get yourself in a better place. Yeah. I know for me, first of all, after I got hurt, I became codependent in my relationship. I wasn't finding my own happiness. And I was also, continuing to push down, some major, depression that I've been dealing with for a long time, just a lot of negative thoughts about myself, and self-image that was just super unhealthy. Right. And it's no surprise that I never could finally find that purpose or reach my potential, even as a healthy, able-bodied individual, because I still had all this baggage and all this shit, that was in front of me that wouldn't allow me to reach that potential. Right. So it was until that I was finally broken down, into this ridiculous situation we like to call spinal cord injuries, right? And I was alone, no longer in a relationship. I was, like you said, in that Groundhog's Day, just doing the same thing every day. I had to finally reach the lowest of the low before I was fed up enough to be like, all right, it's time to take action. It's time to take out the garbage and just start handling my shit.
Right. And I think from that point though, when you're handling your shit, you need to forgive yourself too.
That's one of the hardest things.
One of the hardest things, because I know both of us had envisioned a different life. And when we got hurt, it was like so disappointing. We felt like we were disappointing our family, friends, and most of all, ourselves. And so we spent probably the first couple of years just beating ourselves up.
Yeah.
Like, how could you do this? And like, just, I had to come to that point of realization of, listen, like, I can't change it. It happened. You know, it is what it is. I need to start forgiving myself because I need to move forward. As I'm clearing all the garbage out of the way and I'm breaking all bad habits and I'm learning my new self, I had to forgive myself first and foremost. So if you're out there right now and you're going through and you're cleaning all your garbage out and you're ready to find your purpose and you're ready to move forward, the first thing you got to do is let go and forgive yourself for all the mistakes you've made to get to this point. It's happened, it's done, it's over with. So just go ahead and start that healing process by forgiving yourself too.
And I will say this first step is probably the longest step as well. It's a journey for sure to finding one's purpose. It's not going to happen overnight, you know, but it starts with taking that first step. Every journey starts with a step. Yeah. And this one, it takes some doing, and you know, it takes some commitment because it's really hard. You have to go through some emotions. You have to go through some frustration. Maybe even a little bit of insecurity, a little embarrassment, actually, you know, confronting the things that you know, haven't, you know, put out there, you know, for yourself to even see your face. So, it's something that you just got to be patient with yourself, but definitely apply yourself to, you know, and even oblige yourself. I mean, if you got to set up therapy for yourself every week or something, just to vent it out and start, you know, working on that, that inner garbage, you know, that inner baggage that you haven't dealt with, then, you know, you can start there.
I always say you could do like don't drastically change your entire lifestyle. Do it in increments. You know what I mean? Like if it's eating or if it's talking to a certain person, give yourself allowance. Like, okay, for 3 days, I'm going to do this. And then I'm going to have 1 day off. And then build your tolerance up. You know, you can't start anything new and just completely change everything you're doing. I mean, it's just going to be too much to take on right away.
Yeah, it's kind of like a New Year's resolution. Everyone wants to like be this brand new person and lose 50 pounds
and hit
in
the
a
gym
week.
7 days a week.
It's like, you got to make something that's, you got to
build
make
it up.
a plan that's sustainable. You know, do it in baby steps. Do what, you know, will work for you. Will work for you. Yeah, there you go. You're really clever. You know that?
Yeah, I know. Yeah. I hear that all the time, man. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah,
that really means a lot to me.
Oh, you're really sweet. Anyways, but you know, it's a journey. So you got to take these steps for yourself.
And
you know,
enjoy it.
Be patient. You know, enjoy the ride, but you know, be ready because this one is a tough one. But you got to take out the garbage. And then after that, you know, the one thing that I think is critical to finding your purpose is finding your confidence.
Right, and that's number 2. Build and challenge your confidence.
And challenging your confidence is big in that because, you know, you could do things to build your confidence up. You know, it might be easy finding ways to, you might go to the easy route, you know, of how can I, you know, pop my chest out on this one? Right. You know, what's going to, you know, make me feel good? But you got to challenge yourself to see, you know, what are the things that I'm not doing? Am I afraid of public speaking? You know, is that something that I haven't done? You know, am I, you know, afraid of making that commitment, you know, that I've been, you know, pushing back, you know, or am I afraid of doing these things? So you got to challenge that confidence too. So once you get to step 1, start taking out the garbage, you're going to break yourself down to a point where you feel pretty, you know, weak and pretty vulnerable. Yeah. But then you start that rebuilding process and you start forgiving yourself and finding those small victories. I think that confidence is going to come in each of those small victories. And you only can find victories when you challenge yourself, you know, so find your opponents, you know, and then just start challenging them.
Yeah. You gotta realize that shortcuts or easy way out, that's only going to prolong your happiness. It might give you that quick gratification, which I know we're in a society where everybody wants the quick fix, quick gratification. But if you could train your mind that, look, like this struggle is only going to make me better. In my life, like there's been situations when it came to doing things on my own, to dating again, to getting back out behind the wheel again, to you going back to school. I mean, these were things that we felt like, man, I don't know if I could ever do this. Yeah. But the moment we got into that arena and we took those face on and we crushed those things, it gave us more endurance. And now when I feel like something's coming on and I'm like, I don't know if I can do this. Yeah. I think, okay, that's good. I'm glad I feel that way. Yeah. And then I immerse myself into that situation and I come out better than before. It doesn't always work out the way I envisioned it. Right. But it does work out the way it's supposed to. And I'm always better for it.
What are some of the ways that you've been able to like find your confidence or challenge it even?
I've learned to kind of like rationalize my fear. Okay. You know, like, so when I'm about to do something and like maybe my guts tell me, oh boy, dude, you're taking some risk here. Yeah. I rationalize it. Like, what's the worst that can happen? She's going to say no. I'm not going to get that job.
Right.
Oh, is that going to kill me? No. Is it going to make me pissed off for a day or two? Maybe. But I'm going to get over it because I have before. So I rationalize it. Like I always weigh out the pros and cons of a situation, and then I go from there. And if it really, at the end of the day, there's really no cons to doing anything.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's really just what your natural fears are going to tell you in your mind. But once you get past that, man, it's smooth sailing.
One of mine's pretty similar, and I think I can call it the repetition of discomfort.
Yeah.
The more like uncomfortable situations you put yourself in, the easier they become. You become numb to that feeling.
Yeah.
You callous your mind, you callous your emotions to this insecurity that you've built up in yourself that doesn't need to exist. So the more rejection you seek, I can think back to when I was working in sales. And my boss's favorite line was like, I'm going to go out there and get some rejection today. Yeah. And it was like, dude, you're like, what? What do you mean you're going to go get some rejection? It's like, he was just taking the step to like go after that sale. He knew probably wasn't going to work out, but he was going to hammer at it. And he was going to try and reach out to those clients, and it's just like, breaking down that wall that you've built in yourself that, makes you afraid to even take that chance. Yeah. So the repetition of discomfort, you start breaking that wall down. Sooner or later, you can step right over that threshold. And it's a whole new game for yourself. And I was gonna say one other one I like too are affirmations. Oh, yeah. Because one of my biggest problems in life was kind of my negative automatic thought and kind of like talking down on myself after I make a mistake. Yeah. Thinking negatively about myself after situations or even missing a serve or a pass or whatever in sports, like dumb things like that. But if you can actually talk positively to yourself and do so like in a routine on a daily or even a weekly basis, those are the thoughts that are going to start filtering through your mind. And, it's going to overall, I think, have an impact on your confidence.
Yeah. I always ask myself, why not? Why not me? Why can't I be the one that makes the breakthrough? And affirmations are great. I have them posted up in my room right now, about things that I know that I've struggled with throughout my entire life that I've repetitiously put on my wall. I'm like, okay, you know what? Like, I know where I'm going with this. Stop, and no one knows yourself more than you. Yeah. Or, so what pitfalls you have ahead of you. You know what's going to like send you back and, make you not try anymore. Try to crush through those. Like, take those on for once in your life. Take a stand and be like, you know what? This is not going to knock me down this time.
For sure. And I think one way too that's easy to find your confidence, look at the things that you keep putting off. Yeah. Like what are you doing that makes you uncomfortable? Yeah. Like what's the easy way out that you've been taking on each thing? What is it that you're afraid of? Go after those things first and then challenge yourself to a higher and higher level whenever you can. Number 3 is all about exploring your passions. There's a lot of things that we like, you can't just be like, oh, I'm passionate about The Bachelor, bro. Yeah. Like, that's not it. No. Okay. Nice try, sweetie. Yeah. But no, you got to find out what you're truly passionate about. If there was something that you couldn't live without, or what's something that really truly means something to you. I think that's kind of where passions begin. It's in your heart rather than, what you like to do or whatever.
And I was thinking about this a lot lately because, I've been real reflective with all the craziness that's happened to start the year. And I was watching the Laker game the other day, and I'm like really passionate about basketball, right? And back in the day, of course, we all want to be a professional sports player, right? But I was like, you know what? I could have been a sports agent if I wanted to. I could have been an NBA referee. That would have been the coolest job for me, to be on the court with all these guys. But there's so many different avenues that I could have went into when it related to the sports, Yeah. Sometimes we just look at these big goals and be like, oh, I'm real passionate about music, but I'll never be a singer. There's so much more you could do with that. Right. So don't limit your thinking. But like when we say passion, there's something that just gets you excited. Everybody has something that gets them excited, Yeah. Just don't limit it to one thing. Just expand off of that excitement.
And it's a process too, so piggybacking off of what you were saying, man, like I thought sports was my passion. That was it. Yeah. That's what I wanted to do. So at the end of college, what I wanted to get into sports broadcasting. Yeah. I thought I was going to be the next Jesse Palmer on ESPN, doing my thing. But over time and like getting in the industry, it's like, this kind of like, this isn't what I wanted. Like, yeah, I love sports, right? But why at the end of the day, after I've been tweeting and writing blogs and broadcasting, why do I not want to watch the game anymore? Like what is it? There's something missing. And then it was all about like, hey, maybe it's not sports so much, but it's the competition,
Right.
you know, and the challenge of it. And I found that in sales. And so I pivoted my, you know, my professional life into sales because I still had that competitive drive. And, it, you know, that became my new sport, you know, and then from there, you kind of start seeing what's missing from that.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I'm competing, I'm in the realm, but like, I don't feel like I'm making an impact. You know, I really like impacting people, doing things for my community and a team. So I'm not finding it here. So what's next? Right. And so you just have to keep pivoting and finding what does and doesn't work. Right. You know, pivot.
Have you seen that Friends episode?
I haven't. No.
Oh my God. Ross is moving a couch in.
Yeah.
And I forgot Chandler and somebody else was helping him move the couch. And it goes up the stairs. You have to pivot and go back upstairs. He's like, pivot. It's hilarious. We'll have to throw it on the screen.
Yeah, absolutely.
But, you know, when you're following your passions, 9 times out of 10, you're not going to go exactly where you thought you were going to go.
No.
You know, but it's going to lead you to better things that are more suited for you, more opportunities. I mean, at the end of the day, it's better than just sitting around and waiting for things to happen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just go out there and immerse yourself in whatever you want to do. But be flexible. Don't be too rigid because you're going to find yourself going on different ways that you never knew were possible.
Exploring your passions will definitely take some open-mindedness.
100%.
You know, so just because it's not completely obvious to you at the beginning, you got to just start going down that path, you know, and seeing, okay, this works, but something's missing. Where can I go for that?
Yeah.
And you just start following that path. You know, you gotta be open. You gotta be willing to take some risk and accept that, you know, as Sonny said, it's not going to be exactly what you thought it would be, but you know what? Our paths rarely are. Right. And I've said it before and I'll say it again. One of my favorite quotes is faith means trusting in advance, which only makes sense in reverse. Right. So you got to have faith that your purpose is out there for you. And, you know, you're going to find it, but you got to take, you know, a few mistakes, a few failures, you know, a few pivots along the way, you know, to get there. And that's totally true for exploring in your passions.
The biggest problem I had with that, though, is everything I wanted to do before I got hurt, my life didn't align with that. Mm-hmm. So if I wanted to be healthy, it means you can't go out and drink every night. You know what I mean? If you want to do something incredible, you're going to have to sacrifice a little bit. Yeah. And your life's going to have to line up with what your goals are. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? If you want to be in a solid relationship, you can't go and be talking to 10 different people. Mm-hmm. You know, if you want to be a good friend, you have to be there. You have to be present. You can't be a good friend from the sidelines, you know?
Absolutely.
And that was my biggest issue, is that everything I wanted to do in life, my actions did not align with that.
Yeah. And you have to kind of challenge yourself in that, is my circle, you know, helping me get towards my purpose? Right. You know, so not just a circle of people. I mean, the activities you're participating in, you know, the places you're going, like you gotta really create the environment, you know, for your purpose to come to fruition. You know, so it takes a little more doing than just yourself. You have to make hard decisions. You gotta, you know, be like, is this relationship right for me? Are these friends right for me? You know, and just really surround yourself with people that support you and love you, because it takes a tribe, you know, like especially after you've been injured, you know, trying to do things all by yourself, which I'm totally guilty of. You know, you start taking too much on your shoulders, and that weight just starts breaking you down. You know, whether you like it or not, you have to, you know, be able to, you know, ease some of that burden, and give it and put it on some of those that are there to love and support you. Yeah. You know, so you got to be willing to ask for help along the way, because honestly, it's not what you know, it's who you know. A lot of times in this world. And so you got to be willing to put yourself out there, you know, and asking for help. And you got to be someone that, you know, people want to help. So be good.
That was actually another thing I struggled with. I aligned myself with people that weren't doing shit. Mm-hmm. And I thought, oh, just because I'm this person, I'm better than that. It does, you know, I always fought with that whole saying, like, you are who you surround yourself with.
Right.
And it really came to bite me in the ass in the long run, you know. I don't blame, like, I take accountability for everything that's happened in my life, but had I put myself in better situations with better people, my life would have been completely different, you know? Yeah. So really, you got to evaluate, like, again, in relationships, that person you're with, you're spending maybe 90% of your time with. Yeah. So their bad characteristics are going to rub off on you just as much as their good ones. Mm-hmm. So you have to really watch your crew. You got to watch who you're with, you know, and I always say you got to watch who's on your team and who's on your bench.
For sure.
You know, because that's the most importantly, like, who's on your bench are those people you call up for advice, for help. If they're not quality people, you're going to find yourself in the same situation you're already in, or maybe worse. You know, so you got to have a quality team and a quality bench if you want to win championships.
Love that. Yeah. And it's really easy when you're trying to find your purpose that the focus becomes on you.
Yeah.
And initially, while you need to work on yourself to become the best version of yourself, so that you can open up that potential to find your purpose, you got to put the focus on others too and how you can serve them.
Yeah.
I think for me, serving others and serving the community has been something that it just not only creates tremendous perspective in my mind about like, you know, the struggles that other people have in the world, but just how much it meant to me to be able to like help those people. My purpose is so, you know, greatly been impacted by just the ability to help people.
Right.
At first, I didn't know how to do that, and I needed to focus on myself and see like, okay, how can I, you know, work on myself? How can I get better? How can I do these things to put myself in a good position? But now it's like only in serving others am I truly finding happiness, one, and I think my purpose is along that path too. And I think one thing I love to live by is that Aristotle quote, where the needs of the world and your talents cross, there lies your vocation. So finding your passions and then finding out how you can use that to serve others is huge.
Yeah, it's funny you said that, because the first couple of years I didn't want to be disingenuous and like be trying to help somebody else, because I was still hurting inside. I just wasn't there mentally or emotionally to go out and help other people. But I found out, you know, as I started to heal and I started to reach out more and more and try to help other people, I started to feel more better about myself. Now, that's not the reason I did it, but that is the factor that does come into play. Like, the more you do for others, the better you do feel about yourself.
For sure.
There's something about that selfless act of going out and helping somebody else, the small things or big things, but you feel like, man, okay, I did something productive today. And when I find myself in the most moments of distress or depression, whatever, it's those times where I'm like, okay, you know, and I go out and I reach out to somebody I know I need to help, you know, and I spend some time with that person, or I do something for them that I know they've needed for a while, and I feel better about myself. And I know that person I left is in a better place as well.
Yeah. And, you know, just thinking about it, here we are probably about 7.5 years post injury. And here we are only now that we've started this podcast to try and get our message out to help, you know, empower others who are going through tough times, you know, and those people that are trying to find their purpose, you know, and, you know, open up their potential. And it's just goes to show that it's such a journey that you have to put yourself on, and, you know, being amenable to pivoting when you need to really find your purpose. And, you know, forever I was so focused on myself, but now that I'm focused on serving others, you know, as a part of that, you know, personal growth, here we are, you know, with a podcast with one another. First of all, we had to find one another and become, you know, best friends. Yeah. We are the two best friends that anybody could have, because we're the two best friends that anyone could
I don't
have.
even know that song, but
it's three, but, you know, you, me, and
I like the other song. Have you met my best friend? Yeah. That's my jam right there.
Did we just become best friends?
I think. What's your favorite dinosaur?
Velociraptor.
Oh my God. What's your favorite non-pornographic magazine?
Good Housekeeping.
Oh, we're fucking best friends. We're doing bunk beds when we get home for sure.
Do you want to go do karate in the garage?
I'm so down.
Yeah, let's do it. Anyways, what are we talking about?
All right,
serving others, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know, we like to serve each other with humor every once in a while. You know?
Absolutely.
You know, you got to find people that are, you know, willing to help you help
just
others.
Laugh,
honestly.
man. So, I mean, we don't have this on our list, but just laugh sometimes. You have to literally just like, especially when shit gets tough and things are coming against you, and like,
it's gonna get tough.
You gotta be able just to laugh some shit off. You know what I mean? I think that's the one thing we do the best. You know, we have no boundaries, and we just literally make fun of whatever situations we find ourselves in. Yeah. And we just laugh about it. I mean, because at the end of the day, if you don't laugh, it's gonna kill you.
Yeah, and maybe you don't always laugh at first. Yeah, because sometimes shit just sucks.
Yeah.
But, you know, in hindsight, it's like, dude, this journey is one hell of a beast, dude. Yeah. And it's just gonna put you on your ass sometimes, literally, you know? And so, yeah, you just got to laugh at that and laugh at yourself.
You just got to let it just brush it off your shoulder and just, you know, laugh it off sometimes, you know?
Absolutely.
But I think number 5, and a conclusion to this, there's going to come a point in time where you're going to have to make a damn decision.
Yeah, you got to take action.
Yeah.
You got to put these wheels in motion. I mean, you can set it up and be like, okay, one day I'm going to find that purpose. But until you actually start taking action, it's not going to happen. You got to trust those instincts, and you got to get out there and start making shit happen. Maybe that first business doesn't work. No. Maybe that first step isn't the right one. Yeah. But you got to be willing to take that hit and get back up again,
a couple of years ago, I made the decision that, you know what, I'm not going to be living at my mommy's house any much longer. I'm going to start putting myself out there. I'm going to try some new things I never thought I'd find myself getting into. And I made a decision. I'm going to change. I'm going to go for it, you know? And let me tell you, I've dealt with a lot of adversity since that time I professed it. I mean, I didn't just profess it to myself. I professed it to anybody who would listen. I did put it up on my Instagram, my Facebook. I put it out there for the world to make me accountable. But I made that decision. And there's going to come a point in time where you're going to have to like really put your line in the sand and say, I'm not taking any more shit. I'm not going to take any more excuses. This is it. I'm going to make this decision for myself. Come hell or high water, it's going to happen.
There's so much to be said for that. You know, every journey starts with a step. I said it. And taking that action will both empower you, and it'll also become a learning experience, you know, in and of itself. The school of hard knocks is just always life's greatest teacher. Yep. That pain, that struggle, whatever it is that you're going after, whatever that purpose is that you start finding for yourself, it's going to start teaching you a lot about who you are and what you want. Yeah. And, you know, with that, though, you can't, you know, put on earplugs. You got to kind of listen and see what's going on in that situation and know when it's, you know, time to pull a plug, because if you're so dedicated to this one thing that may not be right, it could be pretty detrimental to you. You know, I know for me personally, like I've invested, you know, my time and effort into, you know, maybe jobs or areas that weren't good for me in the long run, but I was so dedicated to a mission, you know, and the passion behind it that it kind of put on my blinders, and I was like, all right, hey, you know, maybe it's time. And I think that's also why you got to really build a solid tribe around yourself. Yeah. You know, that for people that, you know, have your best interest in mind, that will, you know, be there to be like, hey, you know, maybe this isn't the right one for you, you know, because a lot of times it feels right. You know, we can all talk about that in relationships. Like, oh no, man, she's different. She's different, man. This is the one. Yeah. And then, you know, your friend that was like, no, you know, there's like a few red flags. You're like, no, you know, but
you know what though? Like when you were in that situation, what was your gut telling you? Like, your gut was telling you, no, dude, abort ship. Yeah. This chick's bad news, right?
But you start making excuses.
And it all comes back down to trusting your gut. Like your gut is like your second brain, and your gut will sometimes lead you into better pastures, but you have to trust it. Yeah. You have to know like the difference between your gut telling you something and fear. Like, well, my gut tells me, okay, I need to go do this, you know, and like I might be a little bit scared, or I might be a little bit, damn, I don't know how this is going to work out, but my gut's telling me I need to go do this. Yeah. And the only way you can really trust your gut is by using your instincts and knowing that, okay, like, you know, the situation's coming up, but I need to forge ahead. Yeah. Or the situation's happening, I need to get the hell out of it. But you have to trust your gut. And again, you have to build endurance with that. You have to build up the scar tissue with that.
One thing I took from church this weekend that was so great, it is knowing your non-negotiables. Yes. You know what I mean? Like, what are you not willing to sacrifice on this path towards your purpose? Right. You know, something that, you know, may like be really enticing and look really good, but it goes against something that you truly believe in, you know? Like, what are those non-negotiables that you want to lay out for yourself that you're not going to sacrifice on this path to your purpose? Because passions can go down, you know, a lot of different roads, but your purpose is something much more profound than that, you know? Yeah. And so getting to know yourself, your passions, I also encourage you to get to know your non-negotiables when moving forward.
Yeah, your purpose in life should never jeopardize your character. Yeah. Should never jeopardize solid friendships. But I will say this on the tail end of that, you are going to lose friends during your journey in finding your purpose. Because certain people are meant for certain stages of your journey and of your purpose, you know? So when you're going through your non-negotiables, they shouldn't sacrifice like real good friends. They shouldn't sacrifice your morals, your integrity, your character. Those are the solid pillars of what you're building.
Yeah, man. And it's all about finding the right mix. And it's not going to be easy. You got to be willing to make those mistakes. You know, but it's something that's just so important, and it's going to take time, and you just got to believe in yourself. You know, you got to look in that mirror. It's going to take, you know, finding your confidence. You're going to have to get through, you know, that step of the process, but you're going to have to, you know, look in that mirror and trust and believe in that person that you're staring in the eyes right there. You know,
it's going to get muddy. It's going to get sloppy at times. It's going to seem like you're going nowhere when you're really going places. Yeah. The good things take time.
Yeah.
You know, all the great goals I've set for myself that I'm still trying to like check off my list, they didn't happen overnight. You know, I know we everybody thinks the law of attraction. Okay, I want a Lamborghini in my garage. It's going to happen 2 weeks from now. But realistically, it's going to happen over time, you know, especially the bigger and more important and more impactful goals. So be patient with yourself, you know what I mean? Give yourself time to develop. It's not going to happen overnight, you know, and it's okay. It doesn't happen overnight because you still need to learn things along the way.
It's going to be really difficult.
Really?
You know, you got to find, you know, your willpower.
Your willpower? Yeah, I was going to use that. Damn you.
No, I try. Yeah. Sorry. You're real close, though.
I know. Fucking this guy, dude. You're killing me today.
Yeah. But all in all, man, that's been like the secret sauce for us.
Yeah.
It's been a journey, you know, as I've said 100 times, and it's only come through making those mistakes, finding myself. Here I am 7.5 years later.
Yeah.
But don't be afraid of that. It could come sooner for you. It may take longer. You just have to find your speed. Not everyone's purpose, you know, is on the same path or, you know, the same speed, you know, but it takes investments in yourself. You know, you got to take that trash out, you know?
Yeah.
You got to find that confidence.
Yeah, you got to make that damn decision.
You got to make that damn decision. Find those passions.
Yep.
You know, and how can you use those to serve others? And then finally take some action on it.
Last thought I have is when you're going on this journey, take bits and pieces from other people's success and failures and make them your own. Don't carbon copy people.
Yeah.
And I think we're in a copycat world right now with Instagram, Facebook, social media all together. We're easy to copy other people, but take away from them, learn from them, but make it your own. That's what I encourage you guys to do at the end of this show today. Whatever you're doing, make it your own. Take our advice, take bits and pieces that you like, dislike, whatever, but make it your own. Be you.
You know, there's a great saying in that movie Wall Street.
Yeah.
You know, I believe that every person should both have a mentor and a protege.
Yeah.
So take those things, learn from other people, but then pass it on. Pass on that knowledge.
I love it. I love it.
Let's close on that. Yeah.
That was really good.
Yeah. Oh, there he is.
I finally got one in there.
Me. Yeah. All right, guys, we love you. If you like our content, please like, share, and subscribe.
Yeah. Tell your mom, sister, aunt, uncle, whatever.
Yeah, it's right there. Hit that subscribe button, please, and pass it along. You know, share this message with anyone that you think needs to hear it. A lot of people are going through tough times. A lot of people are, you know, trying to find themselves. You know, so just share our content. We would love to do that. Add us on Instagram at Wheel Talks Official. And you know what? We'll see you guys next week. Get it? We'll see you guys next week.
Yeah.
All right. He's a little slow today.
I am.
But all right, guys, we love you, and we'll see you next time.
Peace.